Have you ever noticed how intense your goals feel when you first set them? How you can't stop thinking about them, you can't stop visualizing them, you can't stop dreaming about the moment when you finally achieve them? Maybe it's a promotion at work, maybe it's a new car, maybe it's financial freedom. When you have a goal, you set a goal, it's fresh, it feels monumental, it feels like life itself depends on that goal, on you getting that goal, your happiness, your fulfillment, everything depends on you getting there. But here's the truth that I think most people overlook: the intensity of desire is temporary. Over time, as you achieve the goals that you set and integrate them into your life, that yearning, that burning desire, that passion naturally starts to fade. Things that once consumed your thoughts eventually become part of your daily routine. It's just normal. It's so natural that you hardly notice them anymore. That fading of desire is actually something that I think we should all think a little bit more deeply into. It's a lens into how attachment works and how you can ultimately release it. Let's take a concrete example here: getting your driver's license. And this is a personal example, something that when I was thinking about making this recording, I thought back on. And I think this is a good example. So let's take getting your driver's license. Think back to when you really wanted it. You may have visualized yourself driving around with your friends, picking up your friends, that feeling of thrill, of freedom, imagining the exact moment the examiner would look to you after you pull into the parking spot and say you passed. Every night, maybe you would replay that scenario in your mind, experiencing the anticipation, the excitement, even that nervous energy. Now, fast forward to today. You drive every day, probably without even thinking about it. The excitement is gone, but that's not a bad thing. It's normal. That goal has become integrated into your life. It's no longer something you have to fight for mentally. It's here. And here's the important part: the same principle applies to every goal you have now. The intensity you feel toward your current ambitions is real, it's valid, it's natural, but it's also temporary. Eventually, if you keep moving toward them, they too will become part of your normal life. Understanding this pattern, desire, achievement, normalization, is one of the most powerful ways to release attachment towards your goals, in my opinion. When you remember that you've been here before, you realize that the intensity you feel now doesn't define your future happiness. You don't need to cling so tightly to outcomes. So why is this important? Because most people put their goals up on a pedestal. They treat their ambitions as if achieving them will suddenly solve all of their problems, eliminate all uncertainty, and bring, true lasting happiness and permanent fulfillment. But life doesn't work that way. When you get what you want, life continues. New challenges are going to appear, new desires are going to emerge, and soon you're chasing something else. The pedestal you've built for your current goal was never real. It was simply the human mind's way of motivating action. Deeply understanding this truth allows you to detach, act with focus, with intention, and avoid unnecessary suffering. Think of your life as a series of cycles. You desire something intensely, you pursue it with intention and energy and effort and focus and faith and trust, and eventually you achieve it, you get there. Once that's integrated into your life, it becomes ordinary. Like once the thing that you've been striving so hard for, you obtain, eventually new goals naturally are going to replace it. Naturally are going to take its place. This isn't a flaw in life. It's the way human growth works. Your goals are tools for evolution, not endpoints for eternal fulfillment and happiness and satisfaction. And by reflecting on your past goals, the ones you once couldn't live without, you can see this pattern very clearly. Maybe you once wanted, I don't know, your first car, let's say, your first apartment, your first job promotion, whatever it is. You imagined life with it, you craved it, you desired it, you worked towards it, and now these things are just part of your life. They're part of your everyday life. You might remember them occasionally, like you might remember what it was like when you didn't have them, and maybe you have to consciously bring yourself back to the point in time where you really, really wanted this thing. And maybe that provides you with feelings of gratitude, which is great. Maybe it puts a smile on your face, or you even smile at how badly you wanted them, but now you don't obsess over them anymore. And that experience in and of itself teaches you that all the current goals that you have are going to follow the same path. So there's no need to put all of this extra weight on you achieving them. There's no need to put them up on a pedestal and think that they're more valuable than you. You've been here before. You've had goals that you really wanted that you've now achieved. And now it's just normal and natural for you to have them. You don't really think about them anymore. And the same is going to happen here. So when we break this down a little bit more, like, why does remembering past goals help release this attachment? Well, I think it does two things simultaneously. Number one, it puts current goals in perspective. When you see that past desires become ordinary, you stop inflating the importance of the current ones. You recognize that life doesn't hinge on achieving a single goal. And two, it reduces the emotional dependence on outcomes. Attachment often comes from the mistaken belief that your happiness or your ultimate fulfillment or your self-worth depends on getting a specific outcome, on something happening like externally, you reaching a specific goal. Remembering past successes shows you that happiness and fulfillment aren't locked behind any single goal. They're just part of your ongoing life's journey. And like I've mentioned this before, but you start to realize as you take action towards your goals and you realize that your happiness and fulfillment doesn't need to be dependent upon you reaching a specific outcome, you start to realize that happiness and fulfillment and peace are created internally. They're within and you have access to them now. So in short, this mindset allows you to chase your goals, to go after the things that you want. Chase your dreams, go after your dreams. Not chase, because chase implies lack, but like go after the things that you want with energy, with intention, with faith, without gripping them desperately. You can take action because you trust the process, because you want to act, because you care about the thing that you're pursuing, and not because you fear failure or feel incomplete without the outcome. One key element I think that's important to mention here is conscious gratitude. Even though you no longer feel intense desire for your past goals, and it's just normal and it's just natural for you to have the things that you once really wanted, taking a moment to consciously appreciate them strengthens your ability to release attachment. Gratitude reminds you that your life isn't just about future goals. It's also about recognizing the achievements that you already have. And the driver's license example fits perfectly here, I think. You have to deliberately recall the feeling of passing the test, of the freedom it brought, of the joy and pride you felt, because without that conscious reflection, it fades into the background. Practicing gratitude in this way prevents you from overvaluing future goals and helps you live in a state of contentment alongside ambition. Sometimes when I instantly want to get myself into this state of gratitude, I think back to the time I visualized every single night what it would be like to get my driver's license. I think about how powerful that emotion and feeling was when I would sit and I would visualize and I would think about me behind the steering wheel, pulling into the parking lot, parking the car, putting the car in park, shutting the car off, looking over my right, and then hearing the examiner say, like I would visualize all of this, congratulations, you just passed. And I would bring myself back to that moment and me visualizing and what I would do every single day to feel like I had it in the present moment, I would think back to that time whenever I want to get myself into a state of gratitude. And whenever I do this, I think to myself, like, I don't even think about this anymore. It was something I wanted so bad at the time, and I made a whole big production of it, and I would visualize every single night. And now I have it, and I drive all the time, and I don't even think about it. Like, it's just natural. And I have so many other goals now, right? And I've had plenty of goals in between that I've achieved, and it's just normal and natural for me to have it, and I don't think about it anymore. And I have new goals and new goals. And I think that there's just this peace that comes with knowing that, like, once I achieve those goals, I'm going to be grateful in the moment, and I'm going to be so happy, and I will get this sense of fulfillment. But over time, like, it's going to be normal. It's going to be natural for me to have those things, and it's going to be ordinary. And then I'm going to have new goals. And it's just this cycle, and it's this beautiful cycle. It's important to clarify, letting go of attachment doesn't mean you're giving up on your goals, right? Like, it doesn't mean becoming passive or indifferent. You still pursue what you want with energy, with focus, with faith, trusting that your efforts will pay off. The difference is that you pursue without desperate clinging, without overinflating the outcome, without creating suffering, like, mentally, over, the how, or over the timing, or over, uncertainty of success. Life will always be a mix of striving and adapting. You'll reach your goals, you'll then integrate them into your life, and eventually you'll want new ones. That's the human experience. By remembering past goals, you anchor yourself in this truth and ultimately release the unrealistic expectation that achieving your next goal will suddenly make your life perfect. So the takeaway here, I think, is simple, but it's profound. Detachment doesn't come from ignoring your desires. It comes from giving yourself the gift of perspective. It comes from seeing the natural cycle of human desire and achievement in your own life, and realizing that every goal you reach eventually just becomes a natural part of your life. And by reflecting on the goals that you've already achieved, the ones you once couldn't imagine living without, the ones you once desperately, really, really wanted, you free yourself from the pedestal of your current ambitions. You reduce the emotional grip of attachment. You cultivate more gratitude, and you allow yourself to act with faith, with focus, with intention. Life continues to evolve, new goals are going to emerge, and that pattern will repeat. But now you do it with awareness, with calm, with trust, knowing that the attachment that you feel now for the things that you really, really want is optional. So reminding yourself of this, ultimately, I think it just makes life itself more peaceful. So yeah, that's it. That's all I really wanted to get across in this recording. Consciously remember to bring yourself back to a point in time where you really, really wanted something that you now have. Remember those feelings. Be grateful for it. What this does is it reminds you that you're living in answered prayers right now. Like, you are probably living in answered prayers right now, and it's just normal and natural for you to do so. And you probably don't even think twice about it. So the goals that you currently have, the things that you really, really, really want, you can take them off the pedestal. You don't have to be so attached to the outcome, because if you have faith and you trust and you work, you will get there eventually, and it will become normal and natural for you to have them, and you'll have new goals. And once you achieve those goals, it will become normal and natural for you to have them. You'll just integrate them into your life, and eventually you're going to have new goals again. So just keep this in the back of your mind, have this perspective, and ultimately be grateful. So again, I hope you got some value from listening to this. Hope this made you think about, just goal setting in a different way. Hopefully you're able to look at your goals that you have now at like this face value, where you're not like overvaluing them, and putting them up on this like imaginary pedestal. So yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of Presence of Being. If you enjoyed listening to this, leaving a like, commenting, subscribing helps a lot. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leaving a positive review also helps a lot. And if you want to support what we're building here, you can go to presenceofbeing.co and grab a hat and support promoting a more present way of life. That's what we're all about here. And follow Presence of Being on Instagram. In every recording, I put all the important links in the description so you can check that out. And yeah, my DMs are always open if you want to have a conversation. Thank you once again for listening, and I will see you in the next recording very, very soon.